This is the Michelle Swinnick 2.0 Your Show, and today's 2.0 Spotlight is on Matt Geiger, the founder of VERITY Metals. And the Save My Freedom movement is proud to have partnered with a reputable and trustworthy precious metals company. So Matt is bringing that to our community. And Matt, I just want to say it's so good to see you. And I'm so glad that we've reconnected. It's been a long time. But let's get to the specifics for the audience. Their time is valuable. We want to hit them with quality information and content and resources. So tell us a little bit about why your approach is so different and what makes you so special in this industry that people have been bombarded with, especially in the podcast world, for the past 4 years. So let's help the consumer for a change.
Well, good to be back on your show, right?
Yeah, right.
Amazing. And it's always nice to see you. Yeah, I mean, I started Verity Metals. I'm a small little gold shop here in Glendale, Arizona. I'm actually in my home studio now. I do have a studio in my studio, my office, I'm sure in future episodes. But yeah, I've been in this business a decade and I've worked for some of the big companies out there. You see them advertised everywhere. And what I realized is that these guys are charging a fortune. It's a very cookie cutter business model. Um, it's one of those things that I thought there was so many improvements that could be made, such as, starting with just the price you pay in commissions. I don't charge very much compared to these other companies. I'm a tiny fraction of what these people charge. I mean, what they charge is egregious. And I like to also think, a lot of people, when they come to me about, they call it Verity about gold and silver. A lot of people don't know much about it. They've heard things, maybe they see a news article, which is usually fake. Um, and they're expecting an expert to really point them in the right direction. So I really like to think I put people in the right products. In terms of gold and silver, I personally like to put people in United States coin, right? Because my view is that we're probably moving back to some gold backed money. I mean, you can see right now we're sort of, it almost looks like we're almost shifting from the Federal Reserve System back to the Treasury right now. So it seemed to me that most likely we're probably headed to gold backed money. Will it be some cryptocurrency involved? Probably, yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, I love it because it's constitutional money, and that's what I put people in, right? So when you call me up, I'm putting you in the right stuff where you're going to look back, a year or two from now or 5 years from now, and you're going to be like, all right, good thing I did business with Matt because he put me in he plugged me right into constitutional money. Um, Most companies won't do that. And then just the structure, I do, of course, retirement accounts, IRAs, 401ks, and it's very tough for people to, make that decision because it's like they maybe don't know about gold and silver, so that gives them apprehension. But I do, self storage if people want to go store it in their own place. They don't have to use one of the cookie cutter depositories, and there's nothing wrong with the depositories. It's just some people just say, hey, I'd feel more comfortable storing it at my local, we have a vault over here, Mountain Vault, right, or at my local credit union. We can absolutely set that up. No other company has the structure capabilities that I have. So it's really a very tailored solution because what I've learned is that, people's comfort levels are different. You have one person on the end of the spectrum saying, Matt, two of my neighbors got robbed in the last 3 weeks, right? And then you have people on the other end of the spectrum saying, I don't, I don't own it unless I hold it. I want it in my own possession. So we can fit anybody in that spectrum. And that's really one of the most unique things in this industry that I do. And like I said, low fees, the right products, and you'll deal directly with me. I'm not looking to create some call center. You can come by my office. I have gold and silver on site. I'm not some call center out of LA. And I like to, it's a relationship. I have great relationships with my clients. We've got a 5-star review on Google, and I intend to keep it that way.
Right. So one of the key things you mentioned is commissions, and you mentioned fees. So let me share with the audience a little bit of background about that. So when the podcast world blossomed and the Patriot movement really kicked in, a lot of them started having a lot of podcasters. Okay, started having, you would see gold commercials pop up. You would see it on a lot of these bigger shows. And I was approached quite a few years ago. Somebody said, "Well, do you want to promote gold?" And I said, "Well, tell me about it because I'm just starting to see it pop up." This is maybe 2020, 2021, somewhere in there. And they said, "Well, we pay 70% commissions." I said, "What? You pay 70% commissions?" They said, "Yeah, the podcasters are loving it. We pay them 70% commissions." Who wouldn't love 70% commissions? I said, "I'm not interested." I said, my one of my past backgrounds in life was a mortgage broker, and I got a chance to experience the subprime mortgage world. So I'm very familiar with what happens with predatory vendors, commissions, and lending and sales. And I was always against it and protected my clients from it. So you've probably heard some horror stories, as he had mentioned, especially when you're dealing with the retirements where people are buying products that they can no longer sell. One of our podcaster partners, I wrote a book, who worked for one of the large companies. It was similar to the situation that Matt was saying, that he worked with these large companies, and ended up being somewhat of a federal whistleblower to let the feds know what's going on behind the scenes in a lot of these companies, where people's retirement accounts are just gone, or they are now sitting on gold coins that aren't the ones that Matt described, the US ones, where they can't resell it. So you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. So now that the dust has settled and the truth's coming out about this industry, as he said, it's the Wild West. I noticed about a year ago that, and Matt and I have known each other for almost 2 years. And he's here locally, right? I went and I met him last week. I saw his office for the second time, right? And we had lunch, so I got to experience a regular relationship because we've known each other for a while. And uh, I think it's time to take a look at somebody like him, who has not only a small business owner, he's here locally in Arizona. He said he's in Glendale, um, who you can trust, right? So the industry has gotten somewhat of a bad rap, but the products are necessary. The products are a key vehicle in somebody's portfolio. Even if you are a little guy, like my brother bought a coin. He didn't know that I knew Matt, and he was so proud to have one. Okay, so he's got one coin. He's like, Michelle, I bought my first
Hey,
gold
it's a
coin.
start.
I
It's a
said,
start.
good job, Dave.
We all
Good
started with
job.
one, so
Right. So, but so that's my point. You don't have to have a portfolio. Portfolio means you have a checking account. Okay, there's your portfolio, guys. You have a pile of cash at home because there's 50 bucks in your wallet or 20.
yeah,
That's your portfolio. So keep in mind, you don't have to be a big high net worth
you can come by for
individual.
one coin if you wanted to.
It's
We could.
just, yeah, you got to so you can get started, is my point. So I'm using my brother as example, and he'll never watch my show, so he doesn't have to know that I mentioned him. But I'm just using that example. This is gold is a gold, silver. These are valuable instruments that you should have somewhere if you can afford it. And again, if you're not getting charged exorbitant amounts of commission, because his fees are reasonable. He showed me the invoices. So like I said, I need to see these numbers before I introduce you to anybody, because I'm protective. And this goes back to when like I said, it was in the mortgage world. I'm very protective of the people, because I know that they've gotten hosed and screwed. That's why I did all this election nonsense, right? Because I know people are getting screwed, and I don't want people to do that. I want to provide solutions, right? Now we're talking about getting healthy, making more money, changing lives. I'm there about solutions and vetted partners, products and services that work, that are good for the people. And when Matt and I reconnected, I said, okay, now that you've got your own shop, because he had some issues with the company he was at, he said, the only way I can do this is if I do it myself. So he did it, pulled the trigger. He has got his own shop now. And I said, let's introduce you to my audience, and let's get you out into more people, because you're doing good business. And that's what this is all about, providing the good business, the good resources and information for people so they can understand. Because every time I talk to him, I'm grilling him stuff about the industry and how things work. And I know he sees my number and he's like, oh God, what does she want now? But I have to do that because I want to be able to provide
Well,
people the
you
information. That's part of it. But he's gonna come on our shows, and he's gonna be doing some videos with me, so we can get you the facts and information. Make your own decisions, but at least you have the resource and his contact information there. He's the type of guy that will talk to you. He's not going to force you to buy anything. He's not going to make you feel guilty because you had questions and you didn't buy anything. But I said to him, Matt, I hate to tell you this, but when you come into our platform and you're partnering with me and the other people in here, I'm going to ask you to do a little more for our customers, our clients, our subscribers, our followers, our community. So he said, yes, Michelle, I will talk extra to them. I will give them extra TLC. I said, that's all I want is a little extra TLC. So you can call him and ask him. The phone number is there, 888 846-1437. You can go to the website, schedule an appointment, veritymetals.com/Michelle, and just get some questions answered, because I asked all these questions. I've said, now, what is the deal with everybody's retirement accounts getting stolen? And talk to me about the commissions and this 70% that I've been told and all these horror stories. And it was interesting because what he told me is exactly what the other podcaster told me who wrote the book. So I knew that that was confirmation to me that Matt was one of the good guys, because they don't know each other yet. I haven't introduced them. And they
Right.
said the same thing. So I was
Well,
like, okay,
and I, and I,
it's time to introduce you to the community.
and thank you. And I just will say this: I think it's a great place to be, and it's unfortunate because you hear these horror stories.
Mhm.
And gold and silver's, I think, the place to be. Better than crypto. I think a lot of these cryptos are going to turn out to be a big scam, and I have positions in them. Believe me, I sit here not like, oh, gold and silver, gold and silver. I've done the cryptos, and I'm a beneficiary of the uptick in a lot of these things, like big upticks. But the thing is that I think that when people get a bad taste in their mouth and they see this corruption, for lack of a better
Mhm.
word, in the
Mhm.
industry, it might make them shy away from being in a very good asset class. Because as this guy Juan, who did the paintings behind me, what he once told me was, he says, gold and silver, it's not really necessarily a great investment per se. It's that, yeah, you want to have your money in the markets when the country's working properly, right? When the country's working properly, yeah, have your money in the market, get your rate of return, right? Whereas when the country's not working properly, which is right now, that's where you want to store the value of your money, because
Mhm.
there's going to be a lot of changes coming here, a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of changes. They're starting to see it. It's happening behind the scenes. And what's going to happen is it's going to start boiling up to the surface, and you're going to start seeing this stuff more and more. So I
Mhm.
think by the end of the year, it's not, I don't care what gold and silver prices are, because at the end of the day, is it that gold or silver is getting more valuable? No, it's the dollar losing value. And our dollar is
Right. Good
is
point.
a Federal Reserve note. So as we
Mhm.
do this transition from the Federal Reserve system back to the Treasury system, right? And that's also why you want US coin, because they're produced by the Treasury. The US Mint is a division of the United States Treasury Department. Um, you want to start transitioning your money into the Treasury system and out of the Federal Reserve system. Because
Mhm.
from what I understand, and what do I know? I've heard on good authority that President Trump will be walking this country through bankruptcy at a certain point. And I do think people are going to experience loss. It's the price we're paying for getting out of the deep state cabal system, right? We have to
Mhm.
exit the system and go back to sound money. So I just tell people, it's not a scare tactic, it's not the fear monger. It's that I think it's a great place to store the value of your money
Mhm.
for a period of time. I don't think you're going to be sitting in this stuff forever. And wait till that transition happens. And then once the coast is clear, once we have a clear picture of what our system looks like, then you convert your gold and silver back into markets, right? And hopefully by then they'll be restructured. We'll have real free and fair markets, right? We don't have those now. Look at these hedge funds. They're nothing. They do whatever they want, right? Oh, look at
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi, right?
Yeah.
I wish I
Yeah.
could trade stocks like her, but
Yeah,
we have.
she's like Nostradamus of
She's like
2025.
Nostradamus. She makes
Yeah.
Nostradamus look
She's
like a
so good.
rookie.
Yeah.
And
So good.
we have to get rid of this corruption. And I think during that
Mhm.
time, this is just a placeholder. This stuff's just a bridge to get you out of this mess as it's coming down into something stable, right? Something trusted, something physical, right? Because what's
Yeah,
going to happen
something
during
that's real. Something that's real
yeah,
as opposed, like you
I,
said, the
I
crypto. So,
I think when there's problems in the banks, people are going to lose trust between their banks and their governments. And the only way you're going to insert that trust back is having something physical that everybody can
Mhm.
understand. And that's my case for
Yeah.
gold and silver. Is it's the fundamental money, it's the fundamental asset, and I think it's a great place to be. Um,
Well, they've for years, everyone's always heard you got to diversify, 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 and that goes for every part of your life, but especially when it comes to this. And I use my brother as an example. He bought one coin, okay, and he was so happy that he's like, "I got one." So
right.
even if that's something that is in your wheelhouse in regards to what you can afford, you can at least get started, right? It's just one step. It's, again, you don't have to be a multi-millionaire, big portfolio, but if you do have some retirement funds, it's smart to talk about this. And Matt is the type of guy who's going to give you honest opinions and guide you in the right direction. So I encourage you to give him a call. He's a good guy,
Thanks,
and
Michelle.
you're welcome. And I'm happy to support you and promote you as part of our platform as a trusted
Fantastic.
resource. And I look forward to buying my first coin.
We'll send you one on the house.
Yeah, so I go to, let's see, where it's right there. See, look at I did for him, Matt, the good gold and silver guy, Geiger. So 888-846-1437, or go to veritymetals.com/Michelle. And I'm going to add him to our shopping cart site, so you'll be able to see that in the e-commerce section. And of course, you'll see him mentioned in the Save My Freedom movement posts on the Substack and within all of our materials. So, and if you have any questions, you can always find me. It's my information's all over the place. So go ahead and contact me if for some reason you can't find his information, or of course, if you need anything from either one of us, we're there to serve. We are there to serve the people, because
Amen.
that's just how this all works, and it's been working for us so far. So, Matt, thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Michelle. See you soon.
My biggest preoccupation was the chronic disease epidemic. We are now the sickest country in the world. We announced this week, CDC announced that 76.4% of Americans are suffering a chronic disease. And my uncle was president, it was 11%. In 1950, it was 3%. And we're the sickest country in the world. We have the highest chronic disease burden of any country in the world. And yet we spend more on healthcare than any country in the world. We spend 2 to 3 times what European nations spend. We spend nearly as much in our country for healthcare as all the other nations in the world combined. And yet we have the worst health outcomes. We've lost 6 years in lifespan and longevity to Europe in the past 20 years. Our kids, our girls are hitting puberty 6 years earlier than historically. Our young men have sperm counts that are half of what they ought to be. They have testosterone levels that are half of what they ought to be. We have diabetes that is now endemic, not just epidemic, it's everywhere. 38% of teens are now diabetic or pre-diabetic. When I was a kid, it was 0. And the autism rates, which the president is particularly concerned with, have dropped from less than 1 in 10,000 in 1970 to 1 in every 31 kids today. So this is a national security issue. 8 out of 10 of our children, of our young men, cannot qualify for military service. It's national security, it's our economy, it's wrecking. This is an existential crisis for our country.
But once I just flooded myself with this plant-based nutrition so the body could heal itself, all of a sudden everything started to go back to normal. The sleep was better. The hot flashes, they're gone. Okay, I can say that they are gone. But I haven't worn this shirt since 2023. I couldn't fit into it.
Well, they say that's the test, how your clothes fit.
Yeah, well, because I'm gaining muscle. Okay, so I'm okay with the scale not being where it needs to be. But here's the thing too, you've got my bowels. I'm like a champ. Okay, I'm getting that stuff out. Because you have to get the bad stuff out. My mom died of colon cancer, so I get it. Okay, when that stuff don't come out, it doesn't work out well for you. Inflammation, it's like 2 different people. Okay, 2 different people, and I can see it in my joints. I can see it in my foot. I can see it in my face. But I'm going to show you the picture real quick. Look at the difference. There's no AI and no Photoshop, no touch-up, no nothing. Same person. This is not from exercise, everybody. This is from nutrition. This is from supplements and skincare.
Wow.
And I have done every diet on the planet. Okay, so there isn't one I haven't tried. I've never had results like this. I've lost weight because a lot of the diets, I'm starving myself, right? This, for the first time, I've actually done supplements for nutrition. I've flooded my body with plant-based nutrition. All the issues are gone. And now that my body's in balance, it's about cleanse, balancing, and building, right? That's the magic formula. So it can do what it's supposed to do. To purchase products or get more information, go to savemyfreedom.us, click Get Healthy. You can also book a call. Click Get Healthy or book a call. Got questions? And I'll even guide you through which products you need. Text me 601-301-3503. 601-301-3503. we're your people, right? Because we're here to help people make money and get healthy. Because look, what does this say? What does this say? What does that say, Mike? Read that.
You can have everything in life that you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. How about that?
How about that? How about that? It's pretty much a brilliant statement by the great Zig Ziglar. And it's just a matter of, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to keep living the life that you're living? Or do you want to make a change, which requires 30 minutes a day, following some instructions, and make some money and get healthy? That's it. And have people there supporting you, showing you, guiding you, helping you. So you're not doing it by yourself. I did all that election stuff. I mean, Leo helped, but I did it all by myself. And I said, I don't want to do this stuff by myself anymore. I don't like doing things and starting from scratch and having to create it. If I'm going to do anything, I need a team. I want a group. I want people to support. I want a mentor. I want somebody to ask questions to. I don't want to have to spend hours trying to figure it out. It's all done. We figured it all out. It's already finished. You just got to follow the instructions. If you're coachable, that's a way, because otherwise at the end of the day, this is us. We're just a bunch of low-hanging fruit that is so low to the ground that it's literally rotting. The opportunity of a lifetime. Don't let the opportunity of your lifetime be like the low-hanging, rotting fruit on the ground in 140-degree heat here in Maricopa County, Arizona. Don't let that be you.
Yeah.
Because 30 days is going to go by real quick. You're not getting any healthier, and you're not getting any more money in the bank account. And you don't want to live like that.
It's all about
live like that. You don't have to live like that. No
It's
more.
all about an ecosystem, which is very powerful.
But we did it. We put the ecosystem together. We put it together for the people. The business model of the people is now active. Okay? It's through the Save My Freedom movement. 2 complete digital platforms to build residual income, to get yourself healthy, to make more money, help other people, transform your life, get your time freedom back, get your health freedom back, get your financial freedom back, and a complete support staff and coaches and mentors who are making a hell of a lot of money, who have been doing this for a lot of years, and they know what they're doing, right? It's just, and you don't even have to do the work. They're working for you. All you got to do is invite somebody to a webinar or invite someone to call me, and we'll do all the rest. That's all you got to do. I don't do anything unless I've done it myself. I don't do anything half-assed. You guys should know that by now. I don't align myself with other people that aren't more successful than myself, because I need to learn from them. I don't know the stuff, right? I'm not there to reinvent the wheel. I'm just there to help make it spin faster, so everybody can be at the same pace. And let's do this. I'm telling you, this is amazing. It's the solutions, guys. It's the solutions. It's the easiest thing you can do in your life, and it will change everything. Look,
I will just say
there's
that
the sign.
taking the country back, as you hold up the sign, taking the country back starts with taking our lives back, and it's not just about taking back our votes. It's about taking back our health and taking about our financial freedom as well. So I commend you guys.
So yeah, go to savemyfreedom.us, savemyfreedom.us. You subscribe to the Substack.